Labor laws have been getting progressively better as time passes, but sometimes examples like child labor passes easily through the system. Fast fashion is an outcome of the aforementioned child labor. Labor shortages are due to the fact that qualified workers cannot get jobs without certification. This can also lead back to labor laws and how they can occasionally create issues.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
Elementary teacher. I like little kids.
A babysitter.
A pastor.
A dolphin trainer.
A dental without each buds. A haircutter.
A person who helps in charities.
I'm a cashier at Walmart.
An author. Chapter books about mythical creatures and animals and things.
As of recently, young children around most of the world don't need to worry about child labor and have goals on what they want to be. Labor laws are important in relation to children but harmful in many additional cases. Labor laws are laws that arbitrate the relationship between workers, their employers, and the government ensuring workplace rights. Although America has more definitive laws, child labor is still prominent in other countries, especially third world countries, who may not have enough qualified workers. We interviewed a student worker, Akaja Turkwi, who juggles school and working. Her opinion on working as a minor.
So do you have a permit to work?
Yeah, because I'm 16, I just made 16 this year, and so from 16 to 17 you need a permit if you work at fast food, and I work at McDonald's, so I work in the kitchen, I make burgers and stuff, and so I have to have a permit to be able to handle people's food. But if I was 18, I wouldn't need a permit because I would be of age.
How do you feel about working as a minor?
Sometimes it's because it takes time out of my schedule. After school I work 3 to 10 sometimes, and sometimes I work 3 to 9. The earliest I've ever gotten off was 8 on a school night, and the earliest I've ever gotten off on a weekday, like Saturday and weekend, was 9. And I never have Sundays off. I rarely get Saturdays off, but I always have Fridays off. So it's like I feel like I don't have my life no more, but it's worth it because I'm making money.
So how do you balance school and your job?
So when I get to work, I start working and then I take a break. I have a 45-minute break, so while I take my break, I'll catch up on my Edmonton assignments and on my actual assignments, and then I go back to work. So when I get home, I don't have to worry about none of that.
Okay, next question. Do you feel you're getting treated appropriately because of your age?
Yeah, sometimes it depends on which manager I have for the night, but sometimes I do feel like I'm getting treated appropriately, and then sometimes I don't, because if I get off at 8, they'll ask me to stay longer, and it's I'd be I have school, and they'll be okay, but you're one of the last people to leave, so it really don't make sense for you to get off, and you could just get off when we close and stuff. So sometimes I feel like they do try to take advantage of me.
Okay, because of your age, right? Yeah, it's tough. All right, next question. Do you identify with the privilege in comparison to third world countries that overworking use child labor?
So you mean the kids who have to work in I feel like they have it worse than I do, because it's even though I am overworked a little bit, I still get respect from my managers and the people that's over me and the people that come in the line, and sometimes I get tips from the customers, so it does make me feel a little better about working.
And how do you feel? What do you say to other people who are trying to find a job, things like that?
You should wait. If you really don't have to work, then you should wait, because I just have the job just to help out for stuff in the future, for my college tuition and for the car I want to get. So it's really why I have a job. I don't have to have one, but I got one just because I wanted to have a sense of independency. But it's
questions. Thank you.
No problem.
What's your name?
Akaja.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 11th grade.
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another big issue that comes with labor are the loose laws that take advantage of workers. In our society, where trends in fashion are everywhere, this breeds fast fashion. Fast fashion is a term referring to the highly profitable and exploitative business based on cheap replicas of trending fashion. Not only is it terrible for the environment, but known for using child labor and overworking actual adult workers to inhumane conditions. Fast fashion is also heavily linked to sweatshops in foreign countries. One of our interviewees, Amaya Littleton, explains their relationship with fast fashion. But before that, I'm going to share a child labor survivor's story.
I am a child labor survivor and forced marriage survivor. My name is Nasreen Sheikh. I come from very rural village on the border of India and Nepal. Most of the people are undocumented, which means like the people who born there or die there, there's no birth certificate. So because of that, I also don't know how old I am. I can guess 25, 26, 27 years old. My village was completely male-dominated society, and I saw my aunt being murdered for speaking up for herself, and I witnessed my 12-year-old sister being forced into marriage. And my mom, she said that this is what happened to me, this is what is happening to your sister, and someday it will happen to you. I chose to run away the village because I did not want it to be forced into marriage. One of my cousin who was working in the sweatshops, he took me from the village to Kathmandu when I was around 9 or 10 year old. When I came to the sweatshop for the first time, they teach me how to do the stitch just straight, and then I was keep practice. I would do the brooming and I would wash the dishes or collecting the water, but mostly in the machine. And my machine was like higher than me, so we had to put other stack of clothes so I could fit in the machine. It took me almost 2 months to look out of the window because I was so scared. I come from like such a small village, and then all of a sudden I'm in the big city. It gave me a shock. In the sweatshop, 6 of us, 4 of them were adult, lived, worked, slept in 10 by 10 room without bed or bathroom or having access to even clean drinking water. We were paid less than $2 and forced to work almost 12 to 15 hours a day. We had piles of orders, like 500 pieces, 600 pieces, and we needed to finish that on time. And if we did not finish, we will not get paid at all. So for that reason, we had to wake up sometime 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and work all the way to midnight, and still the pile of clothes will be not finished. We didn't had any day off, like 7 days work, like one order will come and the second order is coming back again. It was like cycle. Sometimes we also would dye. My hand would stay black almost for a week, and then I would put kerosene in my hand and try to take off that color. And then the kerosene stays like a smell when I would eat food. The rice and lentils were like very low nutrition food they gave. And my food, all of the dust of the clothes, like the little fibers will go into the food, and often I would pick up like that long threads from my food. So much chemicals are dyed in those clothes, and then eventually it gets discarded into the rivers and end up in the oceans also. It harms the earth too. Fashion is one of the most polluting industry in the world. I was not completing the whole piece. I was doing just one part, and label or tag was happening somewhere else. The designs were same, like fast fashion. Thousands of pieces being repeated on and on. Our part was to just stitch. My little fingers, they were like fast as machine, because I knew that in order to get a little bit of rest, I need to be fast. And that is when I felt like I was not a human. I felt like a machine. And I just hated those clothes. They were woven with the energy of my suffering. Many times when I was in the sweatshop, I would collapse onto the large bundle of clothes that I was making. Like I didn't even have a bed, and I would just daydream like where these clothes are going to, who is going to wear them. I started to talk to the shirt or the clothes that I was making, and talking to the shirt and saying, whoever will wear these clothes, I hope they can feel me. I hope they can feel my blood. I hope they can see my tears. Because as a young child, I just wanted to go to sleep, and it was not possible. And I tell people that, like, whoever is wearing those clothes, and some people are wearing those clothes right now, and they don't know. If you don't know where your clothes or where your things comes from, you might be consuming suffering. I want people to know where your things come from, so you don't have to consume suffering. After working 2 years in the sweatshop, it got shut down. The agent ran away with 2 months of our salaries, and rest of the other people who were working with me, they went to find work in another sweatshop, and I became in the daytime a street kid, and the sweatshop room in the nighttime, that was the place that I would come and sleep. And that is when I met complete stranger. He was a monk and he was living in Nepal, and this man became like my mentor, and he started to give me education how to read and write. And with that, I was able to seize my destiny.
What's your name?
Amaya Littleton,
Okay, and what grade are you in?
10th grade.
What's your opinion on fast fashion?
I personally do not like fast fashion, but because of my lack of steady source of income, I do have to shop there to get clothes that I like.
Do you think fast fashion stems from the leniency of labor laws?
Yes, I do, because in certain foreign countries, labor laws are not as extensive as they are in the United States. So it's basically maneuvering and exploiting the leniency of those laws to have children work in shops.
How do you feel about fast fashion relating to child labor in sweatshops?
I do sense guilt when I do purchase from fast fashion stores because of that, and I really wish it was different, but like I said, having a lack of source of a steady income, I don't really have a choice if I want to shop where I like.
Okay, thank you. Another byproduct of ignorant labor laws is labor shortage. Labor shortage is the insufficiency of qualified workers or candidates for employment. Labor shortages have risen during the pandemic due to concerns of health and safety. Some people may not be able to work due to their personal limitations, or workers may want a higher wage. As a concluding statement, if we want to progress our labor laws to their safest and most beneficial degree, we should change how we think, whether it be before buying a cute outfit for cheap, or helping supply jobs for those who are qualified yet unable to apply for work, or simply saving children who are forced day in and day out inhumanely. Start speaking up about these issues. Find solutions that aren't harmful. Be empathetic.